Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So today we will speak about how to bring our sadhana to the nishta level, to be firm and stable in our Krishna consciousness, our spiritual progress. So for the beginning, I would like to ask you, do you use Sun GPS or maybe Google Maps or something in your life? So you use?
Yes, I use Google Maps daily.
Daily, okay. So if you want to go somewhere, what do you have to put in the Google Maps or in GPS?
Destination, target destination.
Target destination, yes. Anything else?
And means of transportation, maybe.
Means of transportation. What else?
You can select time when you want to travel.
Yes. What else? Is there anything else?
You can choose different routes.
Yes, also. But one thing is also very important.
Starting point.
Starting point, yes, exactly. If you don't know your starting point, even if you know your destination, you cannot go there. Isn't it true? Yes. So, first of all, also in spiritual progress, we have to know both our goal and our starting point. So, and then we can, of course, know what's the route to our goal. So, what is your goal? What is your destination in spiritual life? Why do you practice spiritual life? Why to practice at all spiritual life? This is the question for you.
And you would like to answer me?
Yes, please.
Okay, you're addressing this question, very good. So, why I practice spiritual life, it's about the community feeling, it's about the community life, it's about exchanging views, being a better version of myself, and also read beautiful books, and it gives a satisfaction feeling, and it partially answers me, my important question: who I am, what is my purpose, and how is this circle of life going on, and being a better version of myself, be a better version as a father, and give to my offspring something valuable for life, be it Krishna consciousness.
Okay.
Am I missing something?
No. This is very good points, in fact. Because whatever you said, it's about the quality of our life, and in fact, basically to be happy. That's our basic need, to be happy, to be eternal, and to know. To be Satchit Ananda, because maybe we should close the door now. Because we are by nature Satchit Ananda, that means that we are eternal, that we are all knowledgeable, and that we are Ananda, we are full of spiritual happiness. So, but as long as we are conditioned souls, we are Asat, Achit, and Nirananda. That means that we are temporary, and our life begins with when we are born, and when we die, it seemingly ends, and we don't know very much. So internet is very prominent. Some news, people are fond of having many news, and in older times they went to the marketplace to hear some gossip because they want to know. They have this deep desire, this deep need for knowledge. And also, of course, everyone is seeking for happiness, this ananda. In fact, all our thoughts, all our words, and all our deeds are pointing in line with this need to be happy. Even if we do something we don't like, for example, if we have some job we don't like, but we do it because we are afraid what will happen if we don't have this job. Isn't it true? So we try always to be happy. Yes. And our destination, of course, is all these three things, and real happiness comes only in relationship. We cannot be happy just by ourselves, because the Shakti, the potency of happiness, is Hladini Shakti. And Hladini Shakti is who? Personified Hladini Shakti.
Hladini Shakti.
Yes. Is who?
I didn't understand the question.
Who is Hladini Shakti?
Internal potency of Krishna.
Yes. And who is, what is her name?
Radharani.
Radharani is Hladini Shakti. And one mantra says that she is Prema Rupa. What does it mean?
Prema means love.
Yes.
Rupa means relationship.
Form.
Form.
Yes, form. That means that she is embodiment of love. That means Ananda means love. There is no Ananda, no happiness without love. Usually people in this world interpret happiness with having things, especially in modern times, isn't it? But if we consider, we can have everything in this world, whatever we want. The best cars, we can go to best places in the world for vacation, or to be in vacation all the time, in fact. But if we are alone in this world, we would be completely miserable. Even if one bird would land on our finger, it would mean for us much more than everything else, because we can have some relationship. So happiness is felt only and solely in relationship, loving relationship. This is the essence of Ananda. So our goal in spiritual life is in fact to develop loving relationship with Krishna and his devotees, because his devotees are non-different from Krishna. So this is our goal. And our starting point is that we are conditioned souls. And what does it mean that we are conditioned souls? Do you have any idea?
Well, first we are in this material world.
We are in the material world, yes.
We are limited by this material body.
Yes,
Here, right?
Yes, we are limited with material body.
We are identifying with this body.
Yes, and identifying with this body.
And we cannot go back to Godhead on our own.
We cannot go back to Godhead on our own. Exactly, everything is true. Yes. and we are limited by time, place and circumstances. So we are very much limited in this world. So this is our starting point. This is our starting point. So Krishna says in 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Mayeva mana adatsva mayi buddhim nivesha nivasishasi mayeva ata urdvam amshayah. That means mayeva mana adatsva, that you should engage your mind in me. Mayi buddhim nivesha, and you should take your buddhi, your intelligence, your consciousness. You should always abide in me with your consciousness. And so you would always be with me, without any doubt. But in that next verse he says, Atachetam samadatum nashaknoshi maistiram abhyasa yogana tato mami chaptum dananja. And what does it mean? Of course, we as conditioned souls cannot absorb our mind and consciousness 100% 24 hours a day. And so he said to Arjuna, Krishna said to Arjuna, so if you cannot do this, to absorb your mind completely and your consciousness and your intelligence in this kind of samadhi, 24 hours a day, then you should practice this. Abhyasa yoga. Abhyasa means training. Training. It's like a training for some sport or some musical instrument, or like the military are training. This is a training of our consciousness. And then by this training, he says, you will develop desire to achieve me. Mam ichaptum dhananjaya. Icha means desire. So you will develop this desire to attain me. And we should, of course, develop this desire, because this desire will propel us to think more and more about Krishna, to absorb more and more about Krishna. And this is very, very important for our spiritual development. So our spiritual progress begins with what? What is the starting point of the spiritual progress? We already said that our starting point of ourselves is conditioned soul. But when we make some first step, or we are taken to the first step, what is it? What is the first thing in spiritual life?
I would say that you realize that you are in a conditioned state, that you are not this body. That's like a first step in your realization. Hey, I'm not this matter, I'm a spiritual being, I'm on a spiritual journey.
This is quite advanced.
It's quite advanced. Okay.
For the first step.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know. What do you mean?
Please develop some thought. What do you think?
I think I can speak for myself. My first step was curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
In asking this question, reflections, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't advanced. It was just curiosity, you know.
Mm-hmm. Curiosity. Interesting. Because Krishna says that 4 kinds of people turn to him, and one of them are the curious. Chaturvida bhajante mam janah sukritin arjuna, and they are sukritina. That means they are pious living beings. Arto jigyasur artati jnanicha bharatarshava. And these four are the miserable one, Arto jigyasur, and jigyasu is the curious, the one who is seeking truth, the one who is seeking something higher. This is jigyasu. And artarti is the one who is seeking money. This is the third one, who wants to be rich. And jnani who is established in truth, deep spiritual realization. He turns, if he's pious, he turns to God. Yes. But in order to search in this direction at all, we need something before that, even before that. And this is faith, some kind of faith, Shraddha. And Rupa Goswami explains, Ado Shraddha. In the beginning is Shraddha. Shraddha means faith. And in fact, human beings are the beings of Shraddha, of faith. Even from the smallest child, if you promise him, if you'll be a good child, you'll get a candy. He really tries to be good to get the candy. He has faith in your words that he will get the candy. And if you go to the bus, which says, I don't know which place, Lausanne is in Switzerland, isn't it? And instead of Lausanne, the bus takes you to Berlin, you would be very disappointed in that he jeopardized your faith. So we all have faith in our lives. From beginning to the end, we have faith. And I believe you both went to school, and majority of people go to school. But who is scientifically prove themselves if everything what they were taught is correct? We didn't went to do some examination scientifically if this is correct what we were being taught, isn't it? So we had just faith that this knowledge is correct. And in fact, many times with this scientific knowledge, it proves that it's not correct. Just recently I read that this theory about Big Bang was dismissed. Have you read about this?
Yeah.
You heard?
Yeah.
Yes, it was prominent philosophy, scientific philosophy for, I don't know, 3 decades or something. And now it's proved that it's completely bogus, that this is not possible. So this Big Bang theory is now just history. How many things that we were taught is just history? Who knows? So our faith, the acharyas say, acharyas, this means great teachers, spiritual teachers, they say that real Shraddha, spiritual Shraddha, is faith in scriptures, in the Vedas. So this is very important. And this Shraddha, because this is the beginning of our spiritual journey, is Shraddha, faith. So we should put a lot of emphasis on our faith, in development of our faith, because there are in fact 2 kinds of Shraddha. And one kind of Shraddha is Shastriya Shraddha, That means faith in the scripture. And other type of Shraddha is Laukiki Shraddha, the faith in what the people believe, usually. And a lot of faith is based on what people believe, not what Shastra is teaching us. And this is dangerous for our spiritual path, because people's beliefs are not necessarily true. Yes, and they can divert us from the real path. Maybe, of course, maybe in the beginning looks like the same path, a little apart, but going in the same direction. But if you have just little direction in the wrong direction, then your path goes like this. In the beginning it looks like completely the same, but then it splits very much later on. So we should be very careful with whom we associate, and that we are inquisitive. The Shastras say Jivasya Tattva Jigyasa, that we live to inquire about Tattva. Tattva Jigyasa. Jigyasa means inquiry. The Vedas don't tolerate spiritual laziness. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, the sages say that people in this age will live in the age of Kali, which means the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. That people are very lazy. Of course, not in work. I believe here quite how to say, hard-working people in Switzerland, but they are spiritually lazy. They don't go to church very much. They don't come to the temple very much, or even to some mosque or something very much. Or even if they come, they just come like some ritual or family tradition or something, not to inquire about absolute truth. But the Vedas say that we should inquire about the absolute truth. Jivasya Tattva Jigyasa, that we live for inquiry. Yes. And also it's in the 4 verses of Chatur Shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam. That means the four basic verses that all Srimad Bhagavatam develops from them. It's also said like this: Etavan eva jigyasan tattva jigyasunatmana anvaya vyatirekabhyam yat sarvatra sarvada. And that we should inquire about this absolute truth, anvaya vyatirekabhyam, directly and indirectly, sarvatra sarvada, that and also in all circumstances and in every place we are. So we should always inquire about the absolute truth. Yes, we shouldn't be spiritually lazy. Yes, and what is this is one feature of Shraddha, of faith, that we have faith in Shastra. So we believe what is in Shastra. And of course, this is not something what some crazy people make up, this Shastra, but were the most profound people in the history of humankind. And the second very important point is, if you have real faith that something is good, you become enthusiastic. Because if I would say to you, I have I have some means to get you rich for, I don't know, 10 million Swiss francs in a week. If you do this and this, you would be very enthusiastic to do this and this if you trust me. Isn't it true?
Yeah, for sure.
You wouldn't miss one thing to get 20 million Swiss francs in a week. Isn't it a good deal?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So you would be very enthusiastic to meticulously do everything. So if we really have faith in Shastra, we are very enthusiastic to meticulously do everything to achieve our goal. Because the sages in Naimisharanya 5,000 years ago, they gathered together to do some sacrifice, big sacrifice for the good of humanity. And in the beginning of sacrifice, they asked Sutta Goswami, who was the best among them, what is the ultimate good for all people? What is one ultimate thing for all people? And they also asked him, you studied many shastras, burini buri karmani shrotavyani vibhagasha. In these shastras there's a lot of different things prescribed. Atah sadotrayat saram. And saram means the essence. Please tell us what is the essence of all these different holy scriptures. Because we know we have Vedas. Vedas have billions of verses. And there is Quran and Bible, many different scriptures. And please tell us what is the saram, what is the essence of all of them. And what brings the highest perfection, what brings complete satisfaction. And Sutta Goswami said, Savaipam sam paro dharmo yatho bhakti-yoga ahaituka pratihata yayatma suprasidati. That supreme occupation, supreme dharma for all humanity, Savaipam sam paro dharmo, that means dharma means spiritual path, occupation, duty, nature. And para-dharma, para means transcendental, supreme, the highest. For all humanity is to render a hetuki bhakti. A hetu means cause or a condition also. That means unconditional love for, not just for husband or a wife or child or parent or friend or relative, but for adokshaja. Adokshaja means Supreme Lord who is beyond our sense perception. Because, as Krishna says in 5th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, Yehi sansparsha bhoga dukkayona evati adyantavantah kantanati shuramati buddha. That if we seek happiness, pleasure in this world, this happiness will bring about only misery. Why? Why? What do you think?
Nothing else is temporary.
Yes, it's temporary, exactly. Krishna says, Adyantavantah Kaunteya. Adi, it has its Adi, means beginning, and Anta, its end. And more happiness that something brings us in this world, more misery we experience after its end. because no sober person would like his happiness to end. Isn't it true? Yeah. But it ends. Every relationship here ends. Everything we have ends. Everything we achieved ends. Our honor ends. Everything ends. Our health ends. Even our life ends. So, if we count on our wealth, our family, our relationships, relatives, friends, our health, we'll lose everything and we will be completely disappointed, because everything we counted on was gone, is gone. So that's why Sutta Goswami said, Ahetuki apratihaya adokshaji savepumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adokshaji. Bhakti means loving devotional service. Because love, we said in the beginning, the love is the only happiness, ananda. Why Prabhupada translated bhakti as devotional service? Why not just devotion? Do you have an idea?
Yeah, I mean, I would say you can only render love if we take position of a servant. So you need to subside yourself in order to serve someone with love. You cannot be, take position of being authoritative to someone, or you serve unconditionally. That's the purest love, right? So that means it's a position of serving someone. It's an action. It's not just a word. It's
yes, exactly. In fact, love is expressed through service. Is expressed through service. There was some joke. Some man wrote a love letter to his girlfriend, and he said, "For you, I would climb unlimited mountains. I would swim across many oceans, and I would go through desert and through jungle for you." And then he ended the letter, P.S. We see each other on Saturday if there is no rain. So this was just lip service, just something to say something attractive, but not real love. Yes. So what we are searching for is in fact ahetuki bhakti. And this ahetuki bhakti, this unconditional love, should be apratihata. That means without any interruption. If there is any interruption, in this interruption we are not happy. So our unconditional love, and of course it should be unconditional, because, for example, Prahlad Maharaj was asked by Nrsimhadev, when Nrsimhadev, do you know the story of Nrsimhadev and Prahlad? Yes, it was a very interesting story. Prahlad was a little boy who was born to the most ferocious demon in the universe, who was called Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranyakashipu, the name is interesting, means gold and soft cushioned bed. That means craving for wealth and sex. and sense enjoyment, basically. So he was terrorizing all the universe. Before he received such unlimited power over the universe, he performed very severe austerities for a very, very long time. And he pleased Brahma, who is the creator of this universe. He's not God, but secondary creator. He's God's servant. And he asked him for a benediction to become immortal. But Brahma said to him that I'm mortal, so I cannot give you immortality. And then he asked him for different boons. He asked him to not to die inside or outside, or not to die in day or night, not to die in the sky or in the ground, not to die from living or from dead, and many such conditions. And Brahma said, okay, let it be. And then he had unlimited power to terrorize all the universe. He in fact reversed the law of karma. Those who were demoniac, they were enjoying, and those who were pious, they were suffering. So he reversed the order of the universe. But for his he thought that it was great misfortune. His own son became a devotee of the Lord. He became Bhakta. And he was terribly annoyed by this fact. First he wanted to reprogram him to think differently, but he was not successful. His best teachers failed in this attempt. So he was so furious that he wanted to kill his own child. And this was not a grown-up child, he was 5 years old boy. And he wanted to kill him in different ways, to throw him from the mountain, to throw him to venomous snakes, and other things. And when he didn't succeed in this, he wanted to kill himself. And he was a little bit afraid because every attempt to kill his child failed. And he asked, where did you get your power from? And he said, from the same source you have your power. This is Almighty God. And he was very disturbed to hear this answer. And he asked, is your God also in this? And he said, where is your God? And he said, God is everywhere. Is he also in this pillar? And he said, yes, he's also in this pillar. And he smashed the pillar very powerfully. And then from the pillar jumped out very fearsome creature, and this was Nrsimhadev. Because one of the boon was also that he wouldn't die from human being or a beast. So Nrsimhadev.
I just showed him a picture. So this
Yes.
is Lord Nrsimhadev. He appeared from the
Pillar.
The lion, the
Yes.
lion ultimate person. So I'm showing him this.
Yes.
Okay.
So he.
This was a beautiful story. Continue.
Yes, he jumped from the pillar. In the twilight. It wasn't the day nor night. And he was not a human, not a beast. He was half lion, half man. And he grabbed Hiranyakashipu and put him on his lap. So he wasn't on the sky or on the ground. And it was happening on the threshold. It was not inside or outside. And he ripped him apart with his nails. And the nails are not considered nor dead nor alive. Dead are considered because we can cut them, but they are still alive because they grow. So they are not dead nor alive. So he was tricked by the Lord. He couldn't trick the Lord. So when Nrsimhadeva killed Hiranyakashipu, this demoniac father, he asked Prahlad. We are, just to remember us, we are talking about ahetuki bhakti, unconditional love. And he asked Prahlad, because I have appeared, please ask for a boon, for something that I can do for you. And he said, I just want to have loving relationship with you. I don't need anything. But he insisted, Lord Nrsimhadeva, please ask for a boon, because if I appear, I can give the best boon. If you would be admitted to the most wealthy person in this world, I don't know who is it, Bill Gates or Elon Musk or someone, and he would ask you to take a boon, to take something that he can give you, I don't know, $50 million, and you would say, no, I don't know, I don't need anything. So Prahlad was like this, I don't need anything. And he insisted, and then he said, my Lord, if I'm completely satisfied to be your servant. If I would ask for anything, I wouldn't be your servant, I would be a merchant. You understand? So, because I would ask something from you, that means my devotional service would be to gain something from you, but I don't want anything. I want just to be your servant and that you are my master. So this is a hetuki bhakti.
It's the story of Bhakta Prahlad.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes. But Nrsimhadev still insisted to ask for something, and then he asked for his father, not for himself, for his father, to be liberated from this world. Yes. So my point is, this ahetuki bhakti is our goal, and if we have shraddha, firm faith in this, then we will definitely be very enthusiastic to achieve it, because it's the highest goal we can achieve, that is possible to achieve in all worlds, in material and spiritual worlds. It's not any higher goal possible. Yes, so shraddha means that you have faith in what? That I'm testing if you remembered anything.
In Krishna, basically, right?
We said, you remembered?
No, I would say have faith
In?
rather in the bhakti process.
Yes, but how do we know that what is bhakti?
Scriptures.
In scriptures.
Yeah.
Faith in scriptures.
It's written.
Yes, please remember. Shastriya Shraddha. Shastriya Shraddha. Not what people say.
Right.
Because people will tell us different things. Many times, even among devotees. That I'm telling you this because you should be careful. You will find that devotees pray for health, peace, prosperity, good relationships, and these are all prayers in the mode of goodness. Of course, we can also pray in the mode of passion, for wealth, for good job, for health is halfway between passion and goodness, you can say. For power, for position, this is all passion. And of course we can pray also in ignorance, to conquer my enemies, for this enemy to die. I'm coming from Slovenia, and we have some saying, if someone is envious, he's praying that the neighbor's cow would die. Do you have some similar?
Yeah, I mean, it's relatable. Situations like that.
Yes. So this is the prayer in ignorance. But even in the prayer in goodness is a business deal. I'm chanting your holy name. I'm reading your holy books. I'm engaged in devotional service. And please, you can take care of me by giving me health, by giving me good relationships, by peace, to be peaceful in my heart, to be peace in the world. So these are material desires, because we are concerned about the to be happily positioned in this material world. Isn't it true?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but this is not a Haitaki bhakti, and this is not our goal. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains in Bhagavata-dharma, and there are also in other books, that whatever is our sadhana, that will be our sadhya. That means sadhana means practice. Whatever will be our practice, that goal we will achieve. So if we have this in mind, peace, prosperity, friendliness here, and we pray for these things, so we will stay in this material world to experience this. You understand? And this is Laukiki Shraddha. This is not Shastriya Shraddha, faith based on Shastra, but faith based in some people's belief. And even among devotees, be careful. I heard this many times. They say, if they're not so committed to one pointed to this goal, they say, yes, Krishna is merciful. And what does it mean, Krishna is merciful?
I mean, what
do you think that means?
When I heard such
yes.
Things, and I think their point of view is, well, anyhow, I need mercy to get out of this situation, so eventually I'm counting on that Krishna will save me. But
yes, that means usually that even if my bhakti is not directed properly, at the end of life I'll go to the spiritual world, because Krishna is merciful. But has Krishna just recently become merciful? Or he's merciful for all time? I believe he's merciful for all time, isn't it? But we are still in this material world. And we usually, all devotees who come to this process have some spiritual background. At least those who can see in previous lives usually say so. So we counted even in previous lives that Krishna is merciful. But still we are in this material world. Why? Because our desires were mixed with material desires. And if we have material desires, Krishna is mercifully fulfilling our desires. In fact, Krishna says in 8th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, Yam yam vapi smaram bhavan tyajantyante kalivaram tantam aveti kaunteya sadha tad bhava bhavita. Whatever state of consciousness we have at the time of death, we doubtedly, without any doubt, achieve this state of existence. So whatever we live now, we will experience also at the time of death, and we continue with this consciousness. Death is not a miracle. Usually people have this miracle idea of death. For example, here Europe is Christian environment, and usually, at least in Slovenia, is like this. Many Christians go to church, or even they don't go to church, but this is just a ritual. Otherwise, they live ordinary material life. So, ordinary Christian who lives ordinary material life thinks, I'm a good person and God is merciful. When I die, I'll go to heaven. And atheists think, now I live, and when I die, I will no longer exist. I will disappear. So both count on some miracle for complete change of existence. So this Christian who lives material life, he believes in complete transformation of his existence. And this atheist also believes in complete transformation of his existence. Now I exist, and now I don't. And now I'm engrossed in matter, and now I'm free from this engrossment. And also those devotees who count that they can be engrossed in matter, more or less, even in goodness, they expect that at the end of life there will be some drastic transformation of their consciousness. But death is traumatic experience. All our organs shut down and they don't work anymore. So this is quite dramatic and traumatic. And it is very, very difficult to concentrate our mind on anything we didn't concentrate our mind during our life. Of course, we automatically think whatever we thought during our life, because this is not the time that you would focus, because everything goes wrong with your body, and mind is very disturbed. So whatever consciousness you had when you were more or less okay, and what you were focused on, that focus you will have also at the time of death. So it is very important to have pure path. So if in order to achieve pure devotional service, pure love for Krishna, our sadhana, our path, our practice should also be pure. And this is confirmed in all Shastras. Of course, it means that sadhana means that we are not pure yet. We have impurities, and this we will discuss further after the break. These impurities and how to get rid of them. But our path should be pure. This is the difference. And Rupa Goswami explains what is pure devotional service. This is of course crucial to know in order to have pure path. And he says, Anya bilashita shunyam jnana karmadya anavritam anukulyena krishna anushilanam bhaktir uttama. We said before that we should strive for a hetuki bhakti, this unconditional love. And what is uttama bhakti? Bhakti means this loving devotional service. Uttama means above tamas. Slavic languages have the same word tama. Tama means darkness. Also in Slovenian, tema, tama. This is the same word. And this world, material world, is world of darkness. If there is no luminaries, no light, there would be darkness. So this bhakti is uttama, beyond darkness, and is anya abhilashita. Anya means other, abhilashita means desire. Anya abhilashita shunyam. Shunyam means zero. Shunyam means void, without. So we should be without other desires than bhakti. This is pure bhakti. Of course, we have many desires. Who can count how many desires we have? Unlimited desires. Yes, but how to practice then pure path in order to achieve pure goal? This is the science, and we'll discuss this. And jnana karmadi anavritam. Jnana means knowledge, and we know spiritual knowledge means, as we said just at the beginning of our seminar, that we are not this material body. So if we realize this, that we are not the body, so we wouldn't do anything. Why we would do anything? We are not this body. So I can sit under the tree and never move out. My body can sit there, and I'm not attached to it. That would be jnana. But this is not our philosophy. We are put in this condition with some purpose, to serve the Lord with whatever we have. So we should not cover. This verse doesn't say jnana and karma shunya. That shouldn't be any jnana, nothing of knowledge, or no work. It doesn't say this. It says jnana karmadi anavritam. Avritam means covering. So we should not cover our bhakti with knowledge, spiritual knowledge, and work. That means, so we have this knowledge, we are not this body, so we should not cover our bhakti, our service, with this knowledge. And on the other side, karma means striving very hard, working to achieve some material, prosperous position. For, I don't know, to go to heaven, or to have successful home, family, and so on, to work very hard in this direction. So we should engage in work, but not with this fruitive mentality, to get something from it. But we should engage in work to serve the Lord with our work. So our bhakti shouldn't be covered by the spiritual knowledge or material endeavoring. Yeah. And then anukulyena Krishna anushilanam. Kulya means the river bed, bank of the river. So in Slovenian we have expression, if some people are against each other, they are standing on different banks. They have the same expression.
I don't know. I would need to hear it in Slovenian, I guess.
That they stand on different banks of the river.
It doesn't come to my mind. But I understand what you're saying.
Yes, but here says anukulyena. We should stand on the same bank with Krishna. So we should be favorable towards Krishna. That means we should be favorable. Our work, our endeavor, our service should be favorable for Krishna, and of course with desire to please Krishna. With desire to please Krishna. This is uttama bhakti. That means devotional service beyond this material world. Transcendental devotional service. Yes, and we, of course, we want to have this transcendental goal, not material one. Isn't it true? Do you have any questions or comments? Is it too much?
It's good. It's too much, but it's good.
It's too much. Do you have any thought, any question, any doubt?
No doubts. Maybe a few questions, but not on record, but maybe later.
Okay. So, so our Shraddha should inspire us, according to Shastra, that we follow this pure path. Because if we follow this pure path, we will achieve pure goal. And that this is what we are longing for forever. For this unconditional, uninterrupted, pure love. And Sutta Goswami said, Yayatma suprasidati. Prasidati means happy, satisfied. But this is not happy, satisfied. This is suprasidati. Su means even beyond. That means we are completely transcendentally happy. Not just happy, but utmost happy. Ecstatic, exactly. This is that means suprasidati. And we all want to be suprasidati. We don't want to compromise in this point. We want to compromise in the process many times. But we shouldn't compromise in the process, because then we'll miss what we really want. So that's why we strive to be to get our practice on nishta level, on very firm, unwavering level. Yes. So when we have this faith in the process, this faith is the very basis we should always understand. And faith in what? Just checking here. In Shastra, yes, in scriptures. You remembered, okay, then that means that the seminar goes in right direction. Then, of course, if we have faith in this Shastra, we should seek for spiritual guidance. And this is Sadhu Sanga, and to accept spiritual master. And one who is experienced in spiritual knowledge, advanced in spiritual knowledge, to guide us. And it says, Guru Padashayas Tasmat Krishna Diksha Shikshanam Vishrambena Guru Seva Sadhu Vartmanam. That means that spiritual master should give us Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam, gives us spiritual initiation and instruction in our spiritual life. In this age of Kali, this very unfortunate age, is prevalent thought I perceived among people, that they think that for spiritual development I don't need anyone. I just feel something in my heart, and I don't need anyone to tell me, I don't need anything to read, I just feel. And of course, but if you ask him or her if he needs a teacher for maths, for mathematics, they say yes. But mathematics is grasped much easier. Why? Because it is logical. It is something that we can grasp with our tools we have. That means our intelligence, our mind, our senses. It's something perceivable. But spiritual understanding, spiritual knowledge is completely transcendental, beyond this world. So we don't have any tools to enter this spiritual dimension, because we have this material senses, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, which cannot penetrate in the spiritual dimension because they are material. And we have intelligence and mind, which are subtle matter, which also cannot penetrate through matter to the spiritual level. Not possible. So we have to have, of course, guidance by someone whom this knowledge, whom this bhakti was revealed. Bhakti is paramasvatantra, is completely independent, and is received by bhakti. Bhakti is received by bhakti. If I don't have any money, I cannot give you 100 francs. Isn't it true? So I can give you anything if I have something. So the same is with bhakti. If someone has bhakti, he can give you bhakti. Bhakti is like fire. So if he gives you bhakti, he doesn't lose bhakti. If I put some fire somewhere and it burns this, that means I still have fire. I didn't lose my fire. Yes, so we need spiritual guidance. And not just that for this thing that knowledge is transmitted, but also what is very important view of accepting a spiritual guidance is because we are conditioned, and that means conditioned means that we want to play a role of God. What does it mean, God? Krishna explains in the end of 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram sukhridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim richati. Bhoktaram means enjoyer. Bhoktaram yagyatapasam. That means he is enjoyer of all sacrifices and austerities. And in fact, we do sacrifices all the time. You too sacrificed your time for coming here. So you did some sacrifice. And Krishna says, I am the enjoyer of all sacrifices. And we have saying in Slovenian that without it is about austerity, which will be discussed now. It's also saying in English, no pain, no gain. Is it true? So this austerity means that you do something which is unpleasant for achieving something good, or something that will bring you some quality of life or something. So we have been saying in Slovenian that without any endeavor we cannot even put our shoes on. So even to put your shoes on you need some endeavor. And Krishna says Bhoktaram yagya tapasam, that I am enjoyer also of you every endeavor of yours. Even to sit here, it's some endeavor. It would be easier to lie down, for example. So this endeavor should also be used for Krishna. And he is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is the proprietor of all the universe, all these worlds. And not just the worlds outside we can perceive when it is the night and full of stars and so on. Not just outside world, also our internal worlds, our thoughts, our sentiments, and so on. He is our Lord completely. So this is the Lord. This means the Lord. And people who are afraid of God or who deny God, they would say, this is terrible. What kind of God is this? Everything for himself. And they would say is like, I don't know how they say Ivan in here. It's like Ivan the Terrible. You know Ivan the Terrible? You have heard about Ivan the Terrible? And this God is like Ivan the Terrible. No, but Krishna says, Sukhridam Sarvabhutanam. I'm the benefactor for all living entities. So this is God. So if any endeavor, any austerity we do for our sake, and if we want to enjoy anything, that means that we want to occupy the post of God. You understand? So we put ourselves in the center and want to be in the role of God. So in order to remove ourselves from the center, we should put not just something imaginary, because when we don't have experience of God, this is just some idea for us, because we don't have any realization of God. So we have to put something what is real for us, and this is spiritual master. This is very real. and we should put him in the center. And Krishna says, Acharya mama vijanayam naman variyeta karhichit, that I am the Acharya, I am the spiritual master. So when we put spiritual master in the center and remove ourselves from the center, that means we put God in the center of our life. But we should, of course, be very sincere when we do this, because if we put it spiritual master in the center because of some fashion or something, then we will start to hate our spiritual master. Because then we envy him, because why he's in the center? We should be in the center. So it should be really out of sincere desire to develop spiritually. So yes, we should put Guru in the center. But we should know who is Guru, who is qualified to be Guru. Because there are so many bogus Gurus in this world who are cheaters. How we know who is cheater and who is not a cheater? And Rupa Goswami this explains in Upadeshamrita. And he says, Vacho vegam manasah krodah vegam, jihva vegam udarapasta vegam, etan vegam yor vishahita diraha, sarvam apimam pritivim sashishyat. And that means he explains what are the qualifications for bona fide spiritual master. And he says, Vacho vegam, that he should control his tongue. That means in both things, that he's not attached to taste very tasty food. This is one. This is not attached to this. And that he controls his speech. Varchavegam. Varchavegam is just about speech. First is just about speech. That means he's talking about Krishna, how to develop our spiritual consciousness. Yes, this is very important, to seek such spiritual master who is in love with Krishna, that he speaks always about Krishna, that he doesn't speak about himself. For example, if you ask people in this world, do you know for Hare Krishna? What would they say? They heard for Hare Krishna. But if you ask people in general, do you know who is Srila Prabhupada? Most they don't know who is Srila Prabhupada. Isn't it true? Mm-hmm. Because Srila Prabhupada propagated Krishna consciousness, not himself. Mm-hmm. But for other gurus, if you ask them for their philosophy, they never heard about their philosophy. But if you ask them for gurus, yes, I heard about this guru. But they have no idea what they preached. Isn't it true?
Yeah, that's very true.
Yes. But for Prabhupada, I don't know who is this. But Krishna consciousness, yes, I've heard about this. Yes, this is the sign. Because Prabhupada always spoke about Krishna consciousness. Yes, and how to achieve love of Krishna. Yes. And then manasa. Manasa means the mind. So he should control his mind. And this is expressed also in his face and his body language and so on. And krodha. Krodha means anger. He should control his anger. Of course, even the saints sometimes use their anger in order to serve. The difference is that if some conditioned soul becomes angry, then the anger has overpowered this conditioned soul. But when the saint becomes angry, he uses this anger as a tool to achieve something good. I don't know how old are you, but when I was in my teenage, we had these big television sets, and sometimes this television went like this, that nothing was seen clearly, and then you had to smash on the television that picture became clear again. They had this experience. So this anger of the saint is used in the same manner, just to make us right again, to wake up ourselves. So Manasa Krodha, Jihva Vigam, Jihva is the tongue, as we said before, that he's not attached to tasting tasty foods. And then also that he's not eating too much udara pasta, and that he's not seeking association of opposite sex. Yes, these are qualifications for the guru. And then later he says also that that one should serve and associate with guru who is without any tinge of finding faults in others, because this is very much ingrained in human psychology, because we want to be God, we want to be in the center, so we gossip and we try to diminish others and find faults, of course, with others, because more faults the others have, more firm is our position of God. Isn't it? So, and this is so much in human psychology that I heard many years before now from some bishop from South America. He said, because also in Christianity, I think is a sin to gossip. It's considered a sin, or at least not virtuous deed. And he said that it shouldn't be counted as a sin because everyone is gossiping, and it's impossible to avoid gossiping. It's so widespread. So this is one of the most terrible obstacle in our spiritual path. We should avoid it by all means, this gossiping mentality. So the bona fide guru is one who is devoid of this quality of finding faults in others, and so we should seek his association and serve him very faithfully. Okay, now it's time for a break.
Yes,
lunch break. Do you have any questions?
No, I just want to say that it's really wonderful to hear what you're saying, and it's really inspiring.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope you will prepare some questions for the next part.
I will come back.
You will come back? Great. Please come back. Hare Krishna.